Welcome to this edition of Hall Pass. I have the privilege of standing in Fisher Elementary with one of our phenomenal summer instructors, Miss Emily Quinn. Miss Emily is working with our 4th grade students with Project Lead the Way. Yes. Welcome, Emily, to the Hall Pass.
Thank you. So excited to be here.
Can you share a little bit about what Project Lead the Way means in terms of its programming?
Yeah.
And I heard there are 2 specific modules that you are supporting students in engaging them in. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. Project Lead the Way is a STEM curriculum where all of our elementary librarians are trained. And so students get some doses of Project Lead the Way during the school year. But we have a really great opportunity during summer school to do more modules for our 4th grade students. So we got to do 2 modules during summer programming. Okay. So our first unit was Input and Output Human Brain, where we have some examples of our work we did here that we'll get to later. And then our second module is about Earth's water and interconnected systems. So we have some examples over here too. Really exciting units.
Wow. So with these units, I'm sure students kind of have to engage in some research. What's some research or things that they are engaging in and learning about in order to...
Yeah. Absolutely. So how each of these modules are structured is we read a story in the beginning that has a big problem. Okay. So we have to build knowledge to solve these problems. For example, our human brain unit was all about concussions and how can we educate people on how to prevent concussions or get early diagnosis of concussions. But to know that, we had to start all the way with the brain. So we learned about the brain, the central nervous system. We learned about how our brain takes information from our senses and does outputs. So we did a lot of learning about the brain and how it works before we could go and educate about concussions. And similarly with our unit with our interconnected systems and Earth's waterways, our big project is creating a device that can help clean dirty water. And so we have to do a lot of learning around that too. So we learned about our 4 Earth systems. We are learning about the water cycle, freshwater versus saltwater. So then tomorrow our students can go ahead and build their models to clean some water and see how it goes.
It's so amazing to hear how students are learning and researching in really heavy topics. Yes. and very rigorous content, but then taking that and applying that in a way to kind of create some form of hands-on model. So I see you have a couple of samples in front of us. What do we see and what do we have?
Yes,
here?
Absolutely. So from our human brain input and output, we started with day 1 just building the clay model of the brain, but as we went through the unit, we added more. So we labeled each part of the brain and which sense is connected to the brain. We used yarn to show inputs, how we get inputs from our senses and what output that could cause with our bodies. Later in that module, they created podcasts or videos to talk about concussions and meeting that goal of the problem of either early prevention or early indicating signs. So they were able to create a 2-minute video or podcast to share out. With our interconnected systems and waterways, we made a terrarium. So after we learned about our 4 Earth systems, we created a terrarium and talked about how each part of the systems are represented. So our biosphere is the plant, our geosphere is our soil or sand, our hydrosphere is our petri dish of water, and then also talking about how can we impact the atmosphere. So we added some ice cubes up to the top to see how that would impact our atmosphere, and they will be creating their models to purify water tomorrow.
Yes. It is so amazing, just the rich learning, and it's summer and it's fun and it's hands-on. And I had the opportunity to walk in and actually see this learning in action. And students were meeting together and in small groups and working together collaboratively. Was just an absolute amazing. So this is so exciting. How are students sharing this learning with their families? How are they sharing this learning with others?
So we also have time built in to use some of our instructional tech, and the tool I decided to use was Book Creator. So we have a little bit of time every day, if not every other day, where students are adding to this digital book to put in their conclusion sections to talk, or questions to talk about the things that they are creating, to take pictures, to upload their videos or podcasts. So then this book at the end of our unit is going to be shared out to the families at home, and then they can see each other's books that they created throughout summer.
Amazing. Amazing.
exciting.
Just the integration, not only of STEM, but then how you're making connections back to literacy and to writing,
Yes.
and oracy. Like, it is just
all the things.
And
it's so fun.
And it's so fun. Just a comprehensive learning experience. Thank you so much for bringing the passion and the energy and the engagement to our students. And just by evidence here, they are learning so much and being able to apply that learning. Thank you for joining us on this edition of Hall Pass. We'll see you next time.